Snow White tops the box office mountain with a catch. Coyote versus Acme could be saved. And is it wrong for me to maybe be falling in love with a Minecraft movie? All this and so much more on this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Ryan. That's Jake. What's going on, Jake?
Nothing much, man. It's a good day to die.
Is
Right?
that so? Is that the case?
Yeah. So my one guy at work said when he worked at this church, it's what they used to say to each other because I think it was a play on like Jesus, of course.
Okay.
And it's a great day to die for someone else. It was like the full saying, but they would just say, "Great day to die." Whenever someone asks them how they are. And so whenever they brought in somebody new or wasn't in that culture, that's what they said to each other. And then they'd be like, this cult. Yeah.
Oh,
But like immediately indoctrinated and they understood it afterward, but they're not a cult.
as
Anyway,
far as you
but
know.
how are you?
Dude, I'm doing great. Had a great day back at work. I work in higher education, so last week was our spring break, which meant I didn't work. So I took every day as slowly as I could so that I could savor every last moment. And then it was gone. So back to
Ripped from his clutches.
yeah, it was. I had peace for all of a week, and then it was ripped away from me. So back to the old grind, as they say today. I also started grad school last week too, again. So back to school with that too. It was like the last week of class at where I work was spring break for where I'm going to school, and then spring break from where I work was the first week back to school. So it was this weird back and forth. So right as I wrap up my first week in my second class of grad school of the semester, I'm going right back to work. So it's weird how these things are kind of going, but it's fun. It's fun.
Have you ever mixed the two up?
Oh, their schedules?
No, I mean like you work at a school, a higher education, but you're also going to school. Like, you ever just clock in at the wrong school?
No, because the other school is halfway across the country, but I do.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm online. They're not the same school. I work
oh.
in one university. That was not planned, but it
The
happened.
loyalty is a little rocky.
I didn't know I was
Yeah.
going to be working at another university when I started school at the one place that I'm getting my education
You
from.
you might have gotten a discount if you played your cards right, but
I would
you
have,
did not.
but again, when I applied and got in and got admitted, I didn't know I was going to be getting the job I got. So,
Yeah.
as those of you who don't know, I haven't talked about it in a while. I got a new job at the beginning of the year. And for those who have been around for that long, that was also when my car broke and it was cold outside and it was snowing 10 inches and it was terrible, terrible time. But we're up now. We're back. We back.
We're up.
we up. But no, doing good now. All right. Moving on, we're going to finally get in. We always do this, but we're going to get into our box office news. Segment 1, learning about who did what in terms of money at the box office in week 12 of the year, which is insane that we're already past the 3-month mark into the year, almost to month 4 of 2025. Disney Snow White wins the domestic box office, earning $43 million domestically and $87.3 globally. The $250 million budgeted film is just another deep-pocketed film to fail to reach initial expectations. The $43 million open is even less than the disappointing 2019 opening for Tim Burton's Dumbo, which took home $45 million. If you're being compared to failing at Dumbo, there's a problem. So
Hey, I just refreshed.
did it
This
just
always
refresh?
happens. Yes, we
Beginning of the
waited a
episode.
little bit longer this time, and I just refreshed. Snow White was 42.2. Didn't
Even
even crack 43.
worse is that it failed to reach 43. Disney expected this movie to make 100 million in its first, like in its premiere, and that's globally, with a range of 45 to 55 domestically, and it failed to reach 43 domestically and barely over 87 internationally. So we don't have to really go in depth with why that is. This film has had a lot of controversies that we've even talked on this show leading up to its release, from not casting very many little people as the characters, one, the rest of them are CGI. That's a problem. Two, I've seen people online going after Rachel Ziegler. Gal Gadot has her moments. Not a lot of people are happy with this film, including the backstory. It was all altered and changed to fit some people would say certain narratives. I just think that it's kind of out of touch. I think the story of Snow White is just outdated, and I don't think it needs to be told again. But alas, Disney made it happen, and here we are with this film. This film has no real competition until Warner Brothers releases a Minecraft movie in April, which we'll talk about later, which I'm excited to discuss.
Big competition there.
Yeah, big competition. A Minecraft movie, April 4th, baby. All that to say, I have a question for you, Jake. Can Snow White find the same staying power as Mufasa? With that, we have to remember Mufasa did open to a terrible weekend with a $35 million opening around the holiday season. That film now sits at over $700 million earned. Can Snow White find that same track?
I don't think so, because I think Mufasa released with more positive, if not neutral, whereas the majority of the people do not like Snow White
No.
at all. I mean, and if we want to bring politics into it, I don't even think both sides really care for Snow White. So Snow White, the actress, obviously not doing very well with right leaning, and then Disney not doing very well with left, choosing the dwarves. And all around, this movie's not making anybody happy.
No, well,
really.
Politically, you talk about politics. Rachel Ziegler, who, again, I don't know why she gets a lot of hate. Like, I understand that she might say some things that, like, would not agree to everybody politically. That's one thing. But she gets a lot of hate, unnecessary. Like, I don't know. I won't even go into it because that's a lot of detail that we don't need to discuss on the show. But in terms of what you're talking about, Ziegler has very open about being pro-Palestine, and Gal Gadot is Israeli and has said things that some people on the opposite side disagree with. So, you could not pick two people that were more controversial on both sides of a world conflict, on top of the story being the problem as you described. So just giving that backstory a little bit to what you're saying, because what you're saying is exactly right.
So I saw a pro and con list of Snow White. Guy actually went and saw it, and I'm not sure the source, and I'm not even sure if he's valid, if he's a valid source. But he pro conned it out. His opinion was the only good thing about Snow White was Rachel Ziegler's performance. That was it. That's all he said. She did great, but Gal Gadot and overall everything else, nope. Don't go watch this. So, yeah. He said the musical numbers from Rachel as well were fantastic. He liked.
People forget that she killed it in the last Hunger Games movie. Yeah. I mean, the thing is I feel like as the Hunger Games series has gone on, they've gotten worse. So it's like, I thought it was fine. I didn't necessarily think this was the best addition to the series. But again, like what this critic or this person who watched it, I don't even want to call him a critic because I don't know who you're talking about. But
I wish I knew. I'd give him credit.
This individual is saying that they and her, specifically her musical numbers, are what saved it in his mind. I'm not shocked because that's exactly what my opinion was of the last Hunger Games movie. And the thing is, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is what that one was. And the thing is that one was pretty well received. And speaking of being received, in terms of ratings, Snow White has an IMDb rating of 2 out of 10, which is astronomically low. It even is worse than the 2019 Cats adaptation, which had a 2.8 out of 10. So that is historically bad company to be in terms of ratings for Snow White. It has a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, which arguably is its saving grace. That's a lot better than 2.8 out of 10 from IMDb. And the thing is, IMDb usually rates them more fair. So it's kind of surprising to see the IMDb rating so low. Audiences did give the film a B+ cinema score, with, I think, individuals and audiences under 18 giving it an A-. And from further readings, most of these films, these adaptations, have an A range rating somewhere. So even its best rating from cinema goers and its cinema score at a B+ is still lower than what usually these films go for. So this is just from box office numbers to reviews to just controversies to marketing even. This is like 101. Do not do this. I've never seen Disney flame out this bad. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah, I just don't think it was doomed from the beginning. Like other movies I think we'll discuss today.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's a good moving on point. This is not the end of our Disney slash Marvel even discussions. And there's a big note that I'm excited to get like discussed later after we talk about Black Bag. Focus Features excuse me, I'm so sorry. Distributed and Steven Soderbergh helmed espionage thriller Black Bag finishes second for the second week in a row, earning 4.26 million domestically. The IMDb synopsis again, because it's only been in theaters 2 weeks. We haven't really talked about it a lot, so I want to make sure everyone knows what we're discussing here. Is, quote, when intelligence agent Catherine Woodhouse is suspected of whether to be a loyal to his marriage or his country, and for some reason it did not continue with the rest of the whatever. Anyway, the point of the film, his
Come
wife,
on, man.
well, I don't know what happened because that is the end of that quotation there. That's exactly what I pulled from IMDb. The point of the story is agent has to decide to be loyal to his wife who's suspected of ratting information on his country. So does he betray his wife or does he betray his country? So I apologize for that. I don't know what happened to that quote. I read
It's
it before.
something to do with a black bag.
Yes. The film has a total
assume.
gross of 24 million globally, yet cost around 50 million to produce. So we're going down the exact same trend of big films failing to make money at the box office.
And I mean, to be fair, 50 million is not a huge film either. I mean,
but Focus
comparatively.
Features,
Yeah.
like 50 million from Focus Features is 100 million for Disney.
I'd rather lose 25 million than what Disney's losing.
Let's
be honest.
I wonder if you did the math, are they the same? You know what I mean? What is 50 million to Disney? Like, what is the same hit? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can't compare because Disney's so much bigger.
Considering 209 million was the budget for Snow White, and they haven't made
half.
What'd you say? Half? They haven't made half.
No.
Whereas these guys are scraping half. There you go. There's the hit. I mean,
you could argue 87 is scraping 100, which is half. You could argue that because the thing is that it's a bigger hit. You know, like I get what you're saying, but I feel like they about equal out. Speaking of Disney, Brave New World finishes third. So if you've been following us, Captain America: Brave New World's been in theaters for 6 weeks now, and it is continuing to stay in the top 5 of the box office. In fact, it jumped ahead of the plummeting Mickey 17, which we will talk about in a few minutes. So anyway, he finished 4th last week, jumps ahead of Mickey 17 to finish 3rd this week, earning $4 million domestically, which brings its total domestic number up to $192 million. The big number, however, comes from the global tally as the 4th installment into the Captain America franchise crosses the $400 million mark. And that is, again, its 4th installment in one of its arguably the worst films in the Captain America franchise, and it's still making $400 million. With that, so we add up Mufasa moving into 2025 with Brave New World earning $400 million. Disney accounts for 35% of all 2025 box office revenue, according to the Hollywood Reporter. 35%.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Not my money. It's not my money. I'm not part of that 35%, dude.
But isn't that nuts? I just thought I read that stat and I was like, that is insane.
I mean, look, if I just kept tossing money at movies and putting them into the box office, I'm bound to own 35% of something.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll continue moving down the list. Mickey 17, as previously stated, Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17 drops to 4th in its 3rd outing in theaters, earning $3.6 million in the domestic box office, which tallies a total of $40 million and $110 million worldwide, which you would think are good numbers. But the issue being, it is still about $140 million for making back its budget. With the film heading towards streaming platforms in the coming days, Jake, things don't look good. Things do not look good for Warner Brothers.
We had pointed out last week, because of St. Patty's Day, that theaters took a hit. Now, that is somewhat correct. I'm looking at week over week right now. Last week was negative 6.3%. Which the week prior was only plus 7.6 from the last. So
yeah,
if I'm going back 2 weeks, 48 million. Last week was 45 million, and we jumped to 67 million.
Yep.
So obviously there was an uptick, and I mean most it can be attributed to Snow White, definitely. But all these films are dropping. They did not. They're not doing well. Not even where we said Mickey 17 would come up. No, it still lost half.
I know.
So I was wrong on that prediction. But oh man, You've even got it out of order on your script here because of the Box Office Mojo refresh.
Oh,
Um,
Novocaine.
yeah.
Interesting. It got jumped.
So by only $4,000.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much neck and neck.
So Mickey 17 is actually fifth. And before we move on to what is now fourth, so to go back over the box office, Snow White, abysmal opening, still wins, comes in first, earning 43 million, not even 43 million, now that we have refreshed the page. We literally refreshed the page before recording, like 15 seconds before we hit record. I start reading the script, and you heard Jake refresh and say, actually, it just, screw you, Box Office Mojo.
Actually.
Yeah, actually, screw you, Box Office Mojo. But anyway, moving on. Black Bag finishes second. Steven Soderbergh Focus Features, 4.2 million, just a hair under 4.3. Brave New World, Captain America Brave New World from Marvel finishes third with 4 million, just over 4 million, 192 domestically, over 400 internationally. Now fourth is Novocaine. And if you have been paying attention these past few weeks, I have been made fun of to the max for how I have pronounced that word. And I want to come into this podcast, this episode, and defend myself because I don't get many right. But I'll be damned if you take that one from me because it is correct.
He thinks that an AI voice on Webster
Dictionary. I was scrolling
Dictionary.
the gram, and someone else was reviewing this film, and they pronounced it the same way. I sent it to this man. He goes, wrong. And I said, well, what does the Merriam-Webster Dictionary say? Can you guess at home what it said?
You're trusting an AI voice from an online source.
I trust the Merriam-Webster. I trust the
You
dictionary.
think they're going through every word, making sure this voice can say them right?
I trust the dictionary. Novocaine. I trust it.
I don't.
Apparently, I'm not the only one either because I've been saying it. You and some of my other friends have been making fun of me for how I pronounce Novocaine. Novocaine. It's Novocaine. And you know what? You're probably not wrong, but the Merriam-Webster Dictionary disagrees with you, and I'm taking that as a W. I win this bout.
You switched. You switched.
It's Novocaine.
This whole time. No. You've been saying the other one the whole time.
No, maybe I have because you confused me so bad. It's Novocaine. I've literally said Novocaine.
No,
Whatever.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We need to move on because he's going to get flamed in all the group chats now anyway.
It's Novocaine. I've literally said Nova.
We've said that to you, and we've brainwashed you into saying that. That's correct. What you're saying is correct. You have said Novocaine. I will make you go back and listen to it after this segment, and you can say in the second segment that you were wrong because you just switched it up this episode.
Whatever. You guys have screwed with me so bad.
Oh my God.
Novocaine, however you say it properly, rounds out.
Tuned for segment 2. He's gonna eat his own words.
Okay. No.
You did switch up. I will say you switched up.
Finishing fourth at 3.6 million is Novocaine, however you pronounce it properly.
Which
the Jack Quaid starring. Wrong. You literally just said I was doing it wrong.
Novocaine is wrong. You've said Novocaine the entire time up until this point.
Okay, Novocaine. Apparently, I'm incorrect. Novocaine finishes fourth with 3.6 million, bringing its total gross domestically to 15.7 and an international gross of 21 million. The thing is, this film it was a production value of about 18 million, so it's definitely made its money back. So W for Paramount and Jack Quaid. Any other thoughts on the numbers?
I am saddened by the loss of Mickey 17 to 5 in the third week, but I just pray that they keep hiring Pattinson.
Yeah,
that's all that I pray for.
I don't think he's going to lose any business, though. I really
don't think so. I'm brainwashed by Ryan's optimism that he's not going to lose business.
I think all it takes is Batman 2 to release for that to be fixed.
Fair enough. A lot of people are waiting on that.
That's what I mean. Like, if there is any challenge to his career, because I've seen like people who talk about this movie, I've seen a lot of people say it was actually disappointing.
Yeah.
But thing is, a lot of people like it. It's not necessarily hated. It's just some people say it's disappointing. They don't say it's a bad movie, which I don't think will hurt his career because his performances are still what they are. And once the Batman 2 comes out, he 200, 300, 400 million dollars in a month and a half, and he's immediately right back to where we've kind of attributed him in the past 5 years. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think that he's in trouble, but I can understand where you would come up with that because a lot of his films are more artsy and they don't necessarily do well in the box office. They get cult like acclaim, like followings, but they don't necessarily do well in terms of numbers, which is weird because you would think that all those people who love to follow him would go out to see him in the theater, but they don't.
Well, yeah, unless it's an IP that they know and love. A lot of
Yeah.
people aren't they don't want to leave their comfort zone.
I
And
just
so going and seeing something like The Lighthouse isn't in their wheelhouse.
I just don't understand it being like, because the thing is The Lighthouse is critically acclaimed. Like people love it. Like it's something that is taught in film classes now. Everybody knows that film, and they expect Robert Eggers to come out with another movie. They expect Robert Pattinson to come out with another movie. But when they do, and it's of the same genre, they don't go watch it. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't. That's always been something that's bothersome to me because why?
Well, people might not. They don't go out to watch an actor, I guess. At least not Pattinson.
Yeah, they go out to watch an IP.
They go out and they watch Chris Evans or Hemsworth or Pines or who are the other Pattinson? Chris? No, Chris. The third one, Star Lord.
You've said him
Run out
already.
of Chris, huh?
No, you didn't. You said Chris Pine, Chris who?
Pratt.
There you go.
Pratt. Pines, Hemsworth,
I thought
Pratt,
you said Pratt before Pines.
and now I'm blanking on Captain America. Chris
Evans.
Evans. Damn, I don't think I could ever get all four.
There are too many Chris's, too many white Chris's in Hollywood.
With beards.
Pines, Hemsworth, Pratt, Evans.
There you go.
So in other news in the box office, just a quick thing. There have been a few really major flops, and I'm excited to see where they landed after the adjusted and finalized box office numbers. Those two films are Warner Brothers' The Alto Knights and Jonathan Majors' comeback bid, Magazine Dreams. So Alto Knights is an outdated, that's everyone's saying that is that the genre of film, which is a Robert De Niro starring gangster flick. Outdated, audiences don't want to see it anymore. People are saying that its cinema score is not great. It's got a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes. No one really has enjoyed it. And it earned, let's go find out how many it earned now in the official. So Alto Knights finishes 6th in the box office with 3.1 million. That's in domestic numbers. And then Magazine Dreams finishes 14th with just over $700,000. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Magazine Dreams was a 2023 film that got pushed back due to the allegations against Mr. Majors.
Right. And so, and I'll say I can see it being one of those movies. So actually go ahead. You haven't even read what Magazine Dreams is. I can read it. You want me to read it, Ryan? I'll read it.
Go ahead.
So, all right. Where am I at? This is a bodybuilder pushing himself in any way possible to make it professionally. And I'll read you. An amateur bodybuilder battles both the limits of his physical body and his own inner demons to gain recognition. I can see this resurging in about a year or so whenever it hits streaming by all the TikTok bodybuilders that are go watch this movie, it's got that one guy that, and then all the bodybuilders are going to get canceled because Jonathan Majors, if you didn't know, was found guilty in a misdemeanor assault in the 3rd degree and recklessly causing physical injury and harassment in the 2nd degree, which he was sentenced to a year in a in-person batterers intervention program. So he had to go in person for a year to this intervention program in LA, which slap on the wrist, most people would say, but let's not get political here. So you can disagree with me. I'm just saying that 1 year without anything else, it's kind of odd. But I don't see this film doing much better than it already has. I don't think so. And then maybe streaming comes out and people see it for the story and not the actor. Maybe. But it's still not going to do as well.
I
Who
think
knows?
that
Streaming services might not even pick it up.
you talk about being
Straight to Peacock.
like him just getting straight to Peacock. Him just getting a slap on the wrist. The thing is he is paying with his career. I mean, like
Right.
think
Right.
about
Right.
think about 4 years ago, Jonathan Majors starring like, and this seems like a drama. This seems like something that would have been an Oscar like hunting film if not for what had transpired in 2023. So I think he's deserving. He should have gotten more and he didn't. And now his career is paying for it. You know, no one's going to see him anymore. And he's not like, he obviously, I don't have to say it, but he was kicked out of Marvel. So
Right.
that in and of itself is a giant loss. And of that, he actually said recently, I'd love to come back as Kang. And
I bet.
yeah. It's like, I guarantee you would. So I don't, I have really nothing to say on Mr. Majors and his
Other than I hope he's reformed
yeah,
and has
right.
become a better person because of his, intervention program, and hopefully he has realized the error in his ways and can repent and do his best to re-enter society as a upstanding citizen.
Expertly said. I think and that is the only thing you can do with something like that. You just hope that he doesn't fall back into the same pitfalls, because at that point it's scary.
Because I thought that he could act. I mean, not outside of Kane.
Oh,
I didn't really care about Kang, but uh, I don't know. I still think he's done other things that he can
yeah.
act. So,
I agree. I mean, he was in Creed. He literally
right.
fought Michael B. Jordan, and he was fantastic in that. It was Creed 3, right?
Yeah, I think it was 3. I think
Yeah.
it was 3. Yeah.
And it was, I mean, and that movie, I mean, was amazing. Yeah, it was
Right.
right before the allegations that became his conviction came out in 2023 is when he was with Michael B. Jordan in that film. And I don't know if I remember this correctly. I could be completely making this up. I thought I heard somewhere that, like, I read somewhere back in the day that Michael B. Jordan actually was like on Major's side at one point, like
Mm.
sided with him as like a fellow actor. I could be making that up, but I now that I'm seeing that, I'm faintly remembering reading a story about that, but I think I could be wrong. But regardless, that's neither here nor there at this point. I think you've made the point, and I think that's a perfect place to end it here. So coming up after the break, Coyote versus Acme saved? Stick around to find out. Welcome back. You've made it to segment 2, our major topics, major news discussions, or just something we want to delve deeper into segment. I do want to start right off the top. I concede. I probably was. I got it reversed. I said no or Novocaine at first, and I swore I thought I was saying Novocaine, but I was wrong. I concede.
All right. The
Now,
feather and tarring is over.
we can move past.
We can move past. We can believe whatever phonetics it is. I just wanted him to make the point that he switched up and tried to take the high road on me.
I swore I was saying it correctly, but I
Yeah.
wasn't. It's
All
one of those words you don't realize you're pronouncing wrong, and then when you're told the right way, you think you've been talking about the right thing all along, and I was just incorrect.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ryan
Gume, exactly. Anyway, jumping into segment 2, as we've been hyping up all episode, is Coyote versus Acme saved? According to Deadline, could be. The 2023 live-action animation comedy starring Will Forte alongside Wile E. Coyote might have found a new home after being shelved for a tax write-off from Warner Brothers. That was a big deal when it happened. I don't know if you remember that, Jake. It was a big deal because apparently this movie was very well received. According to Empire, the story follows, quote, Wile E. Coyote seeking legal compensation for years of disastrous Acme corporate productions. So if you remember the joke in Looney Tunes, Wile E. Coyote is chasing Roadrunner, and every time he gets an Acme explosive device or Acme device to try to stop the Roadrunner and capture him, it blows up in his face. And the point of this film is that he hires a lawyer to sue Acme. And that's the story. It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit type live action animation. And it looked like, apparently, like, it looked funny from what we could see from the stills and from the story concept. That sounds hilarious. And according to critics and screen testers, audiences who were sent in early to see the film, it was fantastic. Like, people loved this film, and that it was a disaster, like, just from the get that it was even canceled. Warner Brothers lost a lot of money when they decided to write all these films off, because Wile E. Coyote v. Acme was far from the first film to have this happen by Warner Brothers. In fact, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers got reprimanded by the federal government for doing so. Like, it was a big deal. So now, after all that, after years of it, I think it's a year and a half, 2 years now, after all this time of people begging Warner Brothers to release it. In fact, recently, a dude dressed as Wile E. Coyote was standing outside of Warner Brothers HQ in Hollywood picketing with a sign that said "Free me," trying to making a statement to free the movie. Wow. Immediately after, it was reported that Ketchup Entertainment is in talks to buy the property from Warner Brothers with the goal of wide distributions. Negotiations are currently underway as we speak. Ketchup Entertainment, for regular listeners, might sound familiar because, as we discussed just last week, we had never heard of them until last week. But they are the company that bought and saved The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, and distributed that last week. And it made a good amount of money. I think it's made $6 million, $8.7 million globally with with $6.4 million domestically. So this is a company that is buying into Looney Tunes, and they're making money off of it. Like, I'd be curious to see what they paid to get The Day the Earth Blew Up, but we'll see. Anyway, Jake, what do you think about this whole scenario with Acme or Wile E. Coyote v. Acme, the whole tax cancellation, and now Ketchup Entertainment swooping in to potentially save the day because nothing's been finalized yet?
I just want to see Jessica Rabbit make an appearance.
No, Jessica Rabbit.
Period. Like, that's my only opinion. No, I look forward to this movie because of the opportunity that they could have to put Jessica Rabbit. Anyway, so I'm all for a Looney Tunes-esque, like, live action animated, like, and also court cases. I think this is just gonna be awesome. We're gonna see all of the like the old cartoons where he's gonna probably recreate them in like flashbacks in his testimony. I could just imagine it now, all the different things that film's gonna explore, and then obviously they're probably gonna try and sabotage the court case, or how court cases go in movies.
Yeah.
They're gonna try and blow him up or something. I don't know.
It just
So
sounds absurd, and it sounds hilarious. Like,
right.
exactly your point. No, I
I
love it.
can't wait. I mean, and it sounds like audiences liked it from the tests. So I look forward to it. I think it's gonna be a good one.
It's one thing. So the was it Batwoman or Batgirl? Was that they had also had done the tax
Yeah.
write-off thing with that film, and the thing is that that film was considered terrible. It's universally, it was agreed from those who had seen it that it was just not a good movie.
And those that kind of created it too. They were like,
Yeah, don't do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it got shelved and thrown in the vault and written off. I'm pretty sure before Wile E. Coyote v. Acme. And so I wonder if that was like something that they had done and realized that they could get their 20 million back, and we're like, oh, and like, oh my God, like, we could do that. And then they did it to however many more films. The difference is, if you do it to a universally bad film, like, everyone expects it to be bad, creators say it's bad, early critics and screen testers say it's bad, fine. No one's going to care, and you can get your money back, which I still think that's a sleazy way. If you're going to invest in a film, let those creators create and throw it out there. Like, I do disagree with that even in that level, but there's an understanding there. Hey,
Yeah.
you could admit, because the thing is, to do that is to admit that it's bad. So to say, I understand, like, we just didn't hit our marks, and we just don't think it's worth of it's not up to our standards as Warner Brothers, as a film company, and as creators, down to the director and the actor level. We just don't think this is worth producing or distributing. Sorry. We should just can it, get our money back. If they took that route with some of these films, I would respect it. I'd be like, you know what? That's a value. Like, again, I would love to see the art, even if it's bad, but like, I get it. But then to do this to a film that is universally loved, even at the screen testing and the critic level, the however many dozens of people that have seen it, it just enters this level of sleaziness that is just unprecedented. And it's just like, I'm not a big fan of Zaslav, who's the president of Warner Brothers Discovery. I think he says things like, for example, recently he went on an interview and was talking about how the NBA is losing all of its followers, and that's why we let it walk. As if last summer he didn't sue the NBA because they didn't let him match one of the 3 package offers that Amazon had bought. And it was a big deal. And then that when they failed to follow through on that because a federal court was like, nah, that's just, you're not getting that. That you don't have that in your contract with the NBA. He then turns around 6 months later and was like, we understand the writing on the wall. The NBA is losing followers, so we just let it go. Like he's that kind of guy. And
Yeah.
if you've been following from when this happened, and I love the NBA and I love media, so a media rights deal for my favorite league was like, ooh, I was very invested in
Right.
how that was going. So when I saw that, and I saw people commenting underneath it, like, yes, he's so smart. I'm like, you what? So that's the kind of guy that is continuing to cancel these films strictly for tax write-offs. What's the point in even greenlighting it? Just don't spend the money from the get.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of reservations about, like, Warner Brothers used to be like one of my favorites. They have I love DC. I almost can't support them. Like, they're so bad. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I don't think DC's made a good one since like Batman, right? I mean, I don't remember
Oh, I don't think
many.
so. I mean, they let Zack Snyder come in and make the Snyder Cut, which was pretty well received. The thing is,
Well,
Wile E.
still,
Coyote versus Acme was co-written by James Gunn.
right.
What is
I
happening?
mean, let me read them off from 2013. Man of Steel. Okay.
Should have ended about an hour before it did, but that's okay.
Batman v Superman.
Terrible.
Suicide Squad.
The first one or the second one?
I believe the first one. Yeah, first
Not
one.
a fan of that one.
Not a fan of that one. I thought that one did pretty well, didn't it? I thought it did.
That
Maybe
one was
not.
with
The Flame guy.
the Flame guy. No, that was the 30
The
Seconds
Flame guy.
to who's the singer of 30 Seconds to Mars? Why am I blanking on his name? That's the only thing I can think of is Jared Leto. That was Jared
Yeah.
Leto as the Joker. It was not. I didn't like it.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I like the first
Justice
Wonder Woman.
League. Zack
David
Snyder's
Ayer's one
Justice
was
League.
bad.
Aquaman. Shazam. I think that was well received.
The
Shazam
first
was
one.
okay. The first one. Birds of Prey. Right?
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 1984. I think that flopped. Suicide Squad 2.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Black Adam. Like I'm just saying, like I'm going through these and I'm like, these aren't mind-blowing movies.
Depending
And
on
I
who
might be a
you,
Marvel fanboy, I guess. I mean, at this point, and I'll finish it off. Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman, all up into 2023, and then the Batman.
if you want to technically say, like you said, you mentioned Black Adam, that was technically the film that forced a reboot. Technically.
Yeah.
Because apparently, like, there was some drama with Dwayne Johnson and he wanted control of, like, DC, and Warner Brothers didn't really want that. And then he, like, forced Zachary Levi out, who was Shazam, who's, I guess, am I crazy to think that back in the day Shazam was named Captain Marvel? I swear that was a thing, because I could be wrong.
Well, didn't he say Shazam, and that was
how
the
he
point?
became, but I swore that like I thought that was a thing. But anyway, the whole point is that, like, that was a big piece of drama. And so anyway, that's a little off topic here, but yeah, no, you're right. And I don't know. It's tragic to see good films from them get the axe because of money.
It is.
When you could
Captain Marvel. Yeah.
It was
you're
Captain
right.
Marvel.
Yeah. In the comics. Yeah.
I thought so. I thought I was crazy. Was there probably, I can sense it. There was a lawsuit in there somewhere
with Marvel.
Actual Marvel, because they also
couldn't have done it.
They also have a Captain Marvel, don't they?
Yeah,
that's Carol Danvers, right? Like,
yeah.
There was a lawsuit in there somewhere, and then they lost. That's why he's Shazam now. But anyway,
but so upcoming, I just saw an upcoming possible. Now this is Google, mind you. That Superman movie's coming out. Batman Part 2 coming out. Apparently there's an animated Robin origin movie called Dynamic Duo. Don't know what that's about. There's a Teen Titans movie in development. Not sure what that looks like. And then a Bane Deathstroke movie in development as well. So that could also be super awesome because we haven't seen Deathstroke on like a massive scale yet.
He was supposed to be Ben Affleck's main villain
Yeah.
when that in the Batman that never happened. The difference in what you're saying coming up versus what we just went through is they allowed Matt Reeves and James Gunn to make movies.
Yeah.
Like they that's genuinely it is they allowed that to happen, and now you see they have things like I think Superman's going to be great. The Batman 2 is going to be good. Something that's interesting you didn't list there was something that we had discussed previously is the Clayface horror film.
Oh yeah. This is just like a random list
Oh,
pulled
okay.
from Google. This isn't like set in stone, nor is it all of them. Because I see a Supergirl film if I go to like Wikipedia. So this isn't end all be all every single film that's coming out. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of DC still to come. I'm just saying, in the past years, I am not wowed
No.
in the slightest. Especially if you want to argue the one, two, three films out of the 20 I listed off, which might not even be all of them either. That's it sucks. That's a little sad,
Well,
for DC standards.
moving off of DC because the whole point of this was getting into how bad Warner Brothers had just run themselves into the ground.
Yeah,
In the midst of all of this, they let Chris Nolan walk.
right.
That is
Big
also
mistake.
something that has happened underneath of the guy that I was just complaining about.
Yeah,
So do with that what you will, because I think that's bigger than anything. On top of not only did they fail a whole genre of superhero films that should have competed with Marvel. No reason it shouldn't have other than just their incompetence. They then let the best filmmaker of our generation leave. They didn't even just let him leave. They let him hit the open market. It let him essentially have a sports level free agency to pick where he wanted to go.
dang.
So, yeah, pretty terrible. And so that, again, further proving my point. Moving on in our second segment, we have to talk about the Minecraft movie because we haven't on the show. And the longest
Have to.
time, the longest time I've been avoiding it because I thought it would be the worst thing that's ever hit theaters. But I've been seeing so many. You know what? I'm just going to get into my bullet points here.
Chicken Jockey.
From Chicken Jockey, from various
Oh my
teasers and
god.
trailers, from this exclusive look to that, it looks like this will be terrible, but like in that good way. Like in the way that you watch a film that you know is terrible because it looks like it'll be funny. So when speaking to, I'm pretty sure it was Variety or the Hollywood Reporter, senior director of Mojang, which is the company that makes Minecraft itself, his name is Torfi Franz Olafsson. He said, quote, talking about Jack Black, his character was originally a talking pig, and it was very, very, very late in the development where we had the idea to switch it to become Steve because we needed an expert and host. Olafsson would describe how he noticed the online reaction to Black's portrayal of Steve, and he described how he didn't necessarily intend for the enigmatic actor to portray any other version of the silent lead of the open world sandbox game. He just wanted Jack Black to be Jack Black. So, one, if there was any way, like people complaining, that's not Steve. What was Steve? Really, when you think about it, it's just a blank canvas of a character that you popped in as in the game, right? Like he had no real character development. So I will argue that because that is a good point. But anyway, moving on. Reportedly, Olafsson insisted on cast having an Xbox console in each of their trailers with a private server already set up for each to play and interact with each other in the in-game world. So Black took this very seriously, reportedly logging over 100 hours into the game, with Olafsson continuing to state, quote, he was just completely manic, hoarding stuff in the mines, searching for lapis lazuli because he liked the way it sounds, which is just, I don't know why. A lot of these I feel like are made up, but that just fits Jack Black. Can you imagine handing Jack Black an Xbox and saying, this is for your role? And he just gets so absorbed, you have to describe him as manic in the minds of Minecraft. That is just so funny to me. And so, anyway, following this.
So, I
So,
mean, to be fair, he's probably playing Caves Update, which is already overwhelming. So when I think about Minecraft, I don't even think about the Caves update because I played it at a much earlier age and I haven't played Minecraft in probably a few years. So, but I do know about the Caves update and it being as expansive as it is with like the new mob that's super hard to kill and very tanky,
yeah.
like moss, stalactites, stalagmites, like big caves, whereas I'm used to like the 2 by ones and or like the super small caverns, and you might find a mine shaft. Where now you dig a hole and you could drop 300 blocks and immediately die. Like these cave systems are expansive holes in the ground, like, and they expanded the build limit. So the build limit down is now like -700, where it used to be like, I don't even remember what bedrock was back in the day. It was like
I better say
-100 ish.
it was like maybe 2. It wasn't very far.
No, and now it's like -700, like expansive cave systems once you find them. It's insane. So, describing not only how I would feel a little bit manic going around a cave system trying to find, I mean, even finding my way out is going to be insane. I already had trouble finding my way out of normal caves. Now put, and I'm not even sure how old Jack Black is now, and I'm not saying this as um like an age thing and nobody can play Minecraft if they're over the age of 40. But Jack Black's 55 years old, same age as my father, if not a little bit 1 year older. So I can't imagine putting my father into the caves update at the very least. So I mean, but I can't imagine like those two side by side, and like yeah, they're about the same. I think they'd react the same
It's
way.
so funny
Um,
trying to imagine your dad in Minecraft, but
yeah,
I
he
just
games a little bit. He plays like Forza and stuff. Like he games a little bit. I bought him an Xbox controller for Father's Day. Like he
yeah.
uses it. I could just imagine he would act the same way. Not probably not like Lapis Lazuli sounds good level, but he'd be a little bit manic in the caves. He'd be trying to figure out how to navigate those things efficiently.
Can
Be
you
a
I
little bit
just
manic.
my favorite you brought up Lapis, and that is my favorite detail of this whole thing because he just wanted to mine it not because he needed it, but because he liked the sound it made when you mined it. So
Because one of the only things that I know you can do with it is dye. Like I
yeah, right.
like
Like it's
dye
blue
clothes.
dye. That's like
Yeah,
you could change like
about it.
clothing and you could change like dog collars. Like that's like why you get
Glass,
it.
clay, other things like that. It's strictly pretty much a dye, as far as my knowledge goes. Up into much recent updates, I don't know a lot about Minecraft now, but that's pretty much all I know. It is carpet, glass, clay,
Yeah.
pants, dye. It's a dye. That's about it. So
Apparently, he loves the sound it makes so much, and he's so attached to this one element in this game that he has asked directors and Olafson himself if he could mention it in the movie. I don't know if that will happen, but if he says lapis lazuli in the film with his Jack Black voice, I will die. Like, and that's the thing. Going back to why I'm falling in love with this very slightly, because I know it's going to be terrible. Though I'm not naive to the fact that it should be an animation. Jack Black shouldn't be near it, and it should be something a little bit
yeah,
more serious. But you watch the behind the scenes and you see Jason Momoa being absolutely ridiculous and just looks like he's just having fun. Jack Black I still think he's hilarious. I know he's a little bit everywhere right now and people are kind of burnt out on him. I still like Jack Black. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I see all of it and it looks like it was fun to make. I don't know if the comedy will hit, but I just think it'll be so absurd that it will be fun. And I'm kind of intrigued. Like I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to hear like, Flint and Steel before I get over it, but like it does look really fun.
I think it's just one of those things that you go to see for the meme, pretty much. I don't think it doesn't look good to me. Like I see all these clips and I'm like, man, it's just him saying buzzwords the whole movie. It's just,
Chicken Jockey.
this is an ender pearl.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, it is, Jack. Yep.
What
Awesome.
he says, what else does he say? He says so many things and it's just so
I've seen TikToks of them like rating the 20 sayings that just from the trailers. It's just
yeah.
diamond armor, full set. And it's missing
Enderman.
the pants. It's
Yeah.
missing the pants in the diamond armor. It's not a full set. So can we see Herobrine in this?
That
Maybe.
that'd be kind of cool. That'd be a
That would
callback
seal
though.
the deal. That would seal the deal.
Yeah. I would enjoy it.
What if Jack Black turns into?
I don't know
That'd be
how you pull
crazy.
that off. I don't know how you do
Just
that.
white contacts. That's it. That's all it'd be.
What's he gonna white contact like zombie raise his arm up and go chicken jockey? Like what's he gonna do?
Well, he's not a Herobrine's like a myth mythical.
I
He's like an
know.
entity, right?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I just can't see him playing that.
I don't know. Wait and see.
I know it's bad, and I know what it should be, and I understand the critique, and it's deservedly so.
Yeah.
But it looks so bad that it looks fun. And
Something else I saw. Sorry,
no,
you
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
please.
Finish
No, no,
your.
no, no, no. That
So
was it.
it's a. It was a comment on like one of these Minecraft like TikToks making fun, right?
Yeah.
And it's the Minecraft. It said something like the Minecraft movie is revolutionary because there's never been this much hype through meme culture on any other movie. And I was like, that's a lie.
Yeah.
It's straight up like Barbenheimer was a thing, mind you. And I couldn't even think about anything else because I was befuddled. I was agapped. What is it? Aghast?
Yeah, I
I don't know.
guess. How many times have we
So
talked about Nosferatu on this show? That's the entire reason that Nosferatu made a killing after
like
it was released.
memes have been around helping movies since memes were memed. I guess, like I don't have any like tools or analytics to really tell you the scale, but I don't think Minecraft is the pinnacle of meme culture bringing film viewers. I don't think so. There have been others, likely better ones.
Yeah.
So that's where I'll leave it. I just saw that comment. I was like, come on, nuh-uh. But that is commentary. It's like how meme culture and social media drive viewership. I mean, this Minecraft movie was crap until people started making fun, and now you got people like Ryan who are interested in watching it.
Just for the sake of making fun of it, because it just looks like it'd be a fun time. This is lapis lazuli. Like I just give me more buzzwords. Like it just sounds so funny. I
You'll
don't
get
know.
them. There's likely gonna be something else that comes out in the next what is it, 8 days or so? Um, no, 2 weeks. Yeah, two
Yeah,
weeks.
April 4th is when it releases to
There's gonna be a
theaters.
trailer. In 2 weeks, come on. There's gonna be something else that comes out that's gonna. Oh, water bucket release.
Yeah, why'd he say that?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that is
It's
another one.
not even in the movie.
He's
I mean, it's not
falling
even in the
down.
game.
He's falling to release, and it's just water. Why do you say that?
It is kind of crazy that they put uh, uh the fall damage, the water bucket
Yeah,
catch. I don't remember what it's called, but like back when that, I don't remember who first did it, but like, and I'm gonna say it, Dream, back when he was big deal. That was like one of the first people to really start using water bucket, make that shit mainstream. But I don't know if it was him that did it first. I'm just saying that he was very good, and a lot of people say he was cheating. So, regardless,
I wanna do like a dream style like face reveal, then take it back. Like, dude got that's so far down the rabbit hole, but it's so funny.
yeah. And then he got in trouble for the usual YouTube stuff.
When you think of a YouTuber that plays Minecraft, that's what he did. If you don't know.
Jeez,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
pretty much.
And you know what's crazy? He's still around. He's still doing
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. He is.
he was just like, for those who don't know, this guy, he's a YouTuber who did a lot of bad things. But before he did a lot of bad things, or before he was caught doing a lot of bad things, he had like a mask that he'd wear when he talked. Like he didn't do. But then he did a face reveal, and he like revealed his face, and he was like, "Hi." It was just real cringy. And then people made fun of him so hard that he tried to erase the face reveal. But
Which doesn't work.
we've seen his face everywhere. Like I still see his face flying around, and it's
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then he did a song about it.
I don't want to talk about that. I hate the Minecraft songs.
That's what the mask is for.
That's what the mask is for. You can do stuff like that and it not immediately hit you until you.
That's what the song was called.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
that's what the mask is. Have you not heard that?
I don't remember what it was called. I just remember hearing it and being so creeped out by it.
It's very cringy,
Yeah.
but audience, don't go down
Better
the road. It's
say,
not worth it.
that's
It's not
why
worth
I'm
your
telling you
time.
now is because you don't have to do it. I lived through it. Jake lived through it. If you're
Yeah.
too old or you did not, you had the blessing to have
The
avoided this.
privilege.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know what I'm talking about. Please, for the love of God,
Prepare
save yourself.
yourself.
You are a child of God. Do not go through that because it's a terrible rabbit hole.
Even if you get paid $7.25 an hour, heaven forbid, it is not worth that time.
No.
Probably it is not worth your time. Even if you get paid $7.25, it is not worth your time. So,
And with that, I think that's a perfect way off of Dream and off of the Minecraft movie. It's time to end segment 2 and go into segment 3, which is always quick-ish hits, if you can believe us when we call it quick hits. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You've made it to segment 3. As always, I want to say thank you to everyone who's listened this far. We're about an hour in, maybe 55 minutes in, depending on edits. So the fact that you've made it this far is insane. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day or night or whatever you do to listen to us. It is so, like, we thank you so much, and we just really appreciate you. So like, share, do all that fun stuff. If you enjoy the show, give us from my mispronunciation of words to our movie reviews or to what our bad takes. We're just thankful you're here to hear us out because we have fun. We're just two dudes just taking time out of our days to have some fun. So thank you guys so much. And without further ado, Jake, he's over there smiling. I can see he's wanting to add.
Without further ado, long hits. All right.
Yeah, long hits. Here we go. Coming up first, we're going to start in Star Wars. Always a great place to begin. The Mandalorian and Grogu's budget has been leaked, revealing this to be Disney's cheapest Star Wars budgeted film ever. This project is cheap for Disney standards, mind you. So, cutting costs and holding on to that sweet dough, Disney has been revealed to have spent $166.4 million just as I read the reports. Just $166.4 million. So that's still a pretty hefty budget. However, for Disney and Star Wars, which Disney has a tendency to say, here's the budget, and then completely going over that because it's Star Wars, that's a big win for them. So this signals a new start for Disney as they're holding themselves kind of accountable to a smaller budget to Star Wars films, which we've talked a lot about budgets and going over budgets and spending $250 million and then flopping. I think we're going to start seeing like an avenue of more is less with films and filmmakers. So, Jake, what do you think about Disney putting a smaller budget on a Star Wars film?
I hope that they still do it justice. I mean, obviously, because The Mandalorian and Grogu is loved by many. I'm not sure the budget on a season of The Mandalorian, but if you turn the budget down and pray that people will still come to see it and it's not good, it could very well backfire, right? So it's by no means a small budget, and other media houses have done better with less as well, but it worries me because I know they're going to have the same actors pretty much, if not. I know they can't just get away with I'm blanking on it now. What's the main? Who is Mandalorian? God.
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro. He's got a hefty price tag to him. He's a very popular guy now, right? I'm not sure what I believe is The Last of Us is paying him for that TV show or what he made in The Mandalorian, but to cast him in a movie,
especially today,
that's some money. That's some money. So that's within the budget. I don't think they're going to stick to 166. I think it's going to be very hard.
Do you think that was a purposeful leak so they could say, look, we're spending less, and then they're just going to like slide money under the table?
Sorry, it was actually 200 million. It's going to be like Rogue One, which mind you was awesome.
Yeah.
On a $200 million budget, which undercut the other ones. So the Solo was 275, Rise of Skywalker was 275. I'm just going off a screen rant here. Force Awakens 245. Like Rogue One at 200 million proved they can do it.
Yeah.
With awesome visuals. So that's why I think The Mandalorian 166. I just hope they don't run it too lean, right?
I think this is a perfect point to make, is that you're calling 166 too lean. and 200
For
million as like a small budget for a Star Wars
but
film. But you're right
we
though.
know how Amazon has made TV shows run too lean. I mean, Invincible is one of the biggest ones that why is it at such a low budget? And this is an animated TV show that has I think what was it? It was either the Lord of the Rings TV show or it was the Game of Thrones TV show that had like $1 billion in budget and they only gave 23 million to Invincible.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing. You couldn't give, I don't know, double, just 50 million to Invincible, and we could have had a little bit less of the floating PNGs.
No, you're
Any,
right.
but
And
I'm not, you know,
you're right though. The thing about Invincible too is like to add to your point here is I've seen like independent editors like take footage and add just depth with shadow and it looks
right,
worlds better. And then I've seen people compare the comic strips to the scenes and the comic strips are ridiculously detailed and
right.
the scenes are just not.
So, and there's some saying, and I don't know if this is true because there's a lot of skepticism. It's 10 animators. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That is a rumor that they only have running 10 people, and it's like 10 people with 23 million budget, and I'm gonna use a term that's in gaming, but like AAA actors, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, J.K. Simmons and Stephen
Yoon.
Yoon, um, among others, several others. Um, your budgets you're running a little thin on them animators, and then the time frame.
Yeah.
So going back to Disney and the Mandalorian and Grogu, I that's why I hope it's not ran too lean. Because in Disney's standpoint, I know they're gonna want to get it out super quick. They're gonna cut corners. They're gonna hire the amazing actors to get butts and seats with the IP that will get butts and seats. And then Grogu's gonna look like crap or something, you
Yeah.
know. Or the battles aren't gonna look cool. The lightsabers are gonna look like crap. The space battles, the ship, whatever. I am praying because this is less. They're projected to be less than every other Star Wars films they've done, which arguably have looked good. You know, I'm not going to talk about story at all.
Yeah.
They have looked very awesome as Star Wars. Now, I'm not talking about Leia floating through space. I'm not talking about like the ideas behind it, but it was still cool. It still looked cool. That's about it.
Let me force pull myself from space.
So it was like slow motion too.
It
I don't
was
know, but
cringy. It was terrible.
it was cringy, but like visually, and that was it. I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool.
I mean,
Not her kind of floating through it, but like it was the exploded and like going through space and like the visual of it. Yes, but you start running out of money,
yeah.
and these people who are doing your CG and your, you know, all of that.
I will say
I don't know.
this to ease your concerns. According to comicbookmovie.com, which is surprisingly a kind of a reputable source, I found a lot of nice comments from them on like and like some pretty accurate information. The Mandalorian season 1 is said to have had a $120 million budget, which that was an 8-episode season. Which 120 in 2019 or 2018 with inflation, which is crazy to say that about a year that I remember vividly. Inflation would be 150. So they're about the same for an 8-episode season, at least season 1, which was the best. It's about the same for a 2.5-2 hour movie. So I think we'll be okay. I think that just seeing that, because the first season, the effects were great, and it just didn't feel like, the thing I liked about the season 1 of The Mandalorian was it felt real world, but also the galaxy felt so big. Like the situations felt human, but you still felt that awe of Star Wars. And I think that if they can keep accomplishing that in the film, they don't try to overdo it. Because that's the thing, is that like that's exactly what you're talking about, is when they try to go over their budget, not just in terms of spending more, but in terms of ideas. Because you can completely overshoot what you have, like what you can spend for, but still spend it and try to do what you can with what little you have. And that's where you get problems with like Invincible, is they're trying to copy the amazing art from the comics with $23 million, which is still a lot, but with a time restriction and 10 animators, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
and you
and
got the next episode.
I fear that the viewers kind of doomed um, Invincible, because we were all like, "Where's the next season? Where's the next season?" Like we expected a year turnaround, like everything else. But little did we know, ten
Yeah.
animators in a dream. That's all they were getting paid.
Yeah.
Um, can't churn out the level of quality in a year.
No.
So you either hire more or give them more time and a little bit more budget.
And on that note, that's a hope from fans with a dream. But on that note, it's time to move on to our second piece of news from our long hits segment. The first trailer for first time writer director Michael Shank's quote unquote Together, it's his film, that's the title, from Neon has been released. The film stars husband and wife duo Dave Franco and Allison Brie, which is the first movie for the two since co writing / starring in the rom com Somebody I Used to Know. Now, this is a big change from the rom com because this is a body horror. So, the synopsis of this upcoming body horror is quote, years into their relationship, Tim and Millie, which is Franco and Brie, find themselves at a crossroads as they move to the country, abandoning all that is familiar in their lives except each other. With tensions already flaring, a nightmarish encounter with a mysterious, unnatural force threatens to corrupt their lives, their love, and their flesh. Neon again releases a fantastic thriller that draws attention, which if you think about to last year's Longlegs, their campaign for that and the trailers were absolutely fantastic. The film didn't quite stack up, still succeeded in the box office, still was loved, and I would argue its marketing campaign was the best like aspect of the entire film. This falls in line with that. It's not going to be as like in depth as Serial Killer with like the coded messages and stuff, but it still looked like the trailer looks fantastic and it looks creepy. So, with Neon's success at the Oscars in the last decade and the last few months, do we start to see a larger draw from audiences for the indie film distributor?
I think so. Something that as well in the video game scene that we're seeing is these big companies are tossing a lot of money with little ideas as well.
Mm.
Remakes and live actions, and then in video games, I mean, just triple A's like Call of Duty has been coming out with movies for the past as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same game. It's the same. I don't know how many times Verdansk has been the battle royale on Call of Duty. But anyway, I digress. It's like the indie distributor is making a resurgence, and they will time and time again prove that you can do so much with the right idea and a limited budget by people who care than with unlimited budget people who are worked to death with a idea that's already been told and can't be told
Yeah.
any differently.
It goes in a cycle to where the indies get popular, and then let's say a handful of those indie filmmakers get the most popular, then they're picked up by big distributors, and then for a number of years it's only that handful that come out with movies that people really care about. Then people get
And it's an
tired.
echo chamber,
Yeah.
and then they just keep coming out with slop after a
Yes.
while.
And then people get tired of them, and then they go back to the indies, and then all of a sudden you get people like Neon or Focus Features who come out with just gold. So, for those who don't remember, in 2020, Parasite was a
Right.
Neon distributed film, and it won Best Picture. Well, here we are again, 5 years later, and Anora, another Neon picture, wins Best Picture. So
Right.
I agree, and that's kind of why I ask, is because it's just like at some point, when does your success turn to financial gain for you? Because for them, like obviously they're going to make money from winning the Oscars and having so many awards, but also like at what point does it transcend? Oh, we won the Oscars, and go into the minds of moviegoers to be like, oh, that's the Anora distributor. Like, oh, they came out with it. Like, it's like Warner Brothers. It's like when you think of Looney Tunes, you think of Warner Brothers. When you think of Batman, you think of Warner Brothers. When will people start to say that about Neon? And I know the difference between the two is like what I just described with Warner Brothers. They're IPs that are so universally known that, no one's going to remember Anora like that. But at some point, when will people start to say, oh, I associate that logo with a good movie? Because I
I
think
think
we're past that point. It should be
I
there.
think A24 can claim it.
There you go.
I think this is biased. I think Wes Anderson can claim it. What his house whatever. I don't remember what it is.
Oh, you're asking too quickly. I'll tell you here in a second. Make your point, but I'll tell you here in a second.
But I think Neon is well on its way to becoming that level. I mean, obviously, it's not Disney, it's not Paramount, it's not. Um, I think Focus is kind of there. I mean, if not knocking on the door, like entering through the threshold, I think Focus is up there with the bigger. Um, so yeah, I think we're gonna continue to see the resurgence of indie films, and I hope to see the death of Disney. You know.
I'll
So,
do it. I'll say it, says Jake.
I'll say it. I'm waiting. I'm begging.
This
And
is
I liked it.
if Jake disappears, just know the mouse did it.
What do people say as the joke? Just like, I do not want to hurt myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I would not.
If anything happens to me,
Yeah.
I would not do this. I would not do that.
Indian Paintbrush is Wes Anderson's
Yeah,
production company.
I think that's also another one that's not quite walking through the threshold or knocking on the door, but still big deal.
Yeah.
When he comes out with one, people look, people watch. Asteroid City being obvious, everybody was like, "Holy crap,
Yeah.
big deal."
I liked it.
So
And the thing, it didn't, it wasn't received like it should have been. People didn't like it as
yeah.
much. I liked Asteroid City. I thought it was just a
I didn't
beautiful
like
film.
it as much, but I know that Wes Anderson poured his heart into that one.
Yeah.
And it shows. It shows.
It was
I'm not
cool.
gonna say that because he poured his heart into it, I didn't care for it. It was just I didn't care for it. It didn't talk to me like the other ones did.
And that's
You
so
know?
like obviously like that is so fine. I just thought it was like, and the thing is, my love for it isn't even about the story. I just thought it was, I thought it was just beautiful. Like I just thought it just
Oh yeah.
aesthetically was so pretty. Like
I agree it was beautiful. I just didn't the story just didn't talk.
no, that's I think it's valid. I think it's valid.
Some people will just resonate with stories more than the others, and we can leave it at that.
Yeah. Moving on. The first official teaser trailer for Paul Thomas Anderson's next film, One Battle After Another, starring Leo DiCaprio, was released by Warner Brothers, another Warner Brothers film. So the film seems much darker and much more serious than previous Paul Thomas Anderson films. So think Boogie Nights, think Magnolia, think There Will Be Blood, which is darker, but There Will Be Blood's is sort of comic. And is his first since Licorice Pizza, which was received fairly well. The story is inspired by Thomas Pinchot's novel Vineland or Vinland and is the second PTA film to be inspired by Pinchot's stories. So, and the first one was the Joaquin Phoenix starring Inherent Vice. So, One Battle After Another also stars Regina Hall, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, and Alana Haim. So, outside of feel, we don't get a lot of story ahead of the release for the official trailer, which comes out this week. So, with that, what do we think about the teaser? What do we think about this seemingly darker, more serious tone for Paul Thomas Anderson? How do we feel?
Just looking at the thumbnail of the trailer, I just like the way that they've got Leonardo. I mean, this is I love the yellow. Just these movies that are like very serious and have Leonardo DiCaprio playing
Yeah.
these types of characters. I know he's gonna kill it. I think just one photo, all it takes for me.
Yeah.
Leonardo, he's gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it. But I look forward to watching this one progress to its drop date, its release date, because I think it could be a good watch.
Oh yeah. And what's interesting about this teaser release and then the subsequent trailer release this week, so the teaser was last week, that teaser was released alongside news that the film was postponed by a month. So it was going to release in August, is now releasing in September. So the thing about Paul Thomas Anderson is that he's one of those filmmakers that you expect greatness. Like he's come out with like every film he's come out with is inherently good, if not great. So it's like when he comes out with a film, you see Leo DiCaprio, you see Regina Hall, Sean Penn, Del Toro. Like you see these people and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is like a great cast with a cast that seems to fit his style of storytelling. It doesn't matter if it's more serious. Again, think Licorice Pizza versus There Will Be Blood. This man can go across the board with whatever genre he wants. This just happens to be more of a serious tone than we're used to seeing from him. So I am so, you said it best. I'm so on board. I love like the teaser is mostly gunfire. Like you don't really see a ton or hear a ton, but it does. It just, it already screens PTA and I hope it's good. I like Pinchon. or Pinchon, however you pronounce his name. I like Inherent Vice, I should say. I've not really read any of his stories, but Inherent Vice was fantastic. And so we'll see.
So he's also done Paul Thomas Anderson. He's also done Radiohead music videos. So if that tells you anything.
Well, what's funny is something I didn't add into this because I didn't think it was that important, but you brought it up. One of the musicians in Radiohead regularly scores Paul Thomas Anderson films.
Well, see?
So he's
So it's already good.
going to score this one. He's going to score this one. So One Battle After Another comes out in September.
Look forward to seeing what comes of it. What comes of Leonardo?
Yeah.
Can this be his another Oscar?
That's around Oscar season too. It's like when you start seeing those films kind of come out in preparation to have a run. So maybe we'll see.
Keep an eye out for this one for sure.
Moving on, Saw 11 canceled. It kind of came out of nowhere. It was kind of shocking. So reports indicate that the next installment in the puppet-led gore porn slasher franchise has reportedly gotten the axe due to creative differences. So these creative differences are revealed to have halted production for almost a year up to this point. People thought this film was being developed. It just wasn't. You had some people saying, just push through, just make it happen. And then you had another half of the people saying, no, this cannot go through. We have to cancel. And as you just heard, the latter won. The latter won, and Lionsgate completely pulled the film from any sort of production or distribution. So now we're not going to get a Saw 11. A lot of people are saying Saw 10 or Saw X was the perfect ending. I'm not a big Saw fan. I hate to break it. Resident horror fan doesn't like Saw. I don't like, you heard me describe it, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way. That's just what it is. It's gore porn. Like, people watch it for the gore. Like, yes, there's story, but people watch it for the traps and for the death. And for me, that's just not the kind of stories I like. I don't mean to like come across as like a film snob. Although I do have a degree in film.
He's getting his master's in.
I'm getting my master's in film and media.
Arts?
You know, maybe I do know. No, I'm completely joking. But in all seriousness, it's just not something that has ever spoken to me. I just don't like I like thrillers and I like horrors because you can have such a fun story and get your blood pumping. Like I've always felt that if you can make somebody that adrenaline rush and you can make that primal urge of fight or flight kick in and have that like what's going to happen next, then you've told a great story, which is why I love thrillers. I love horror movies. But these type of films like Saw, they don't like, yes, I can understand adrenaline junkie type of vibe where it's like, oh, are they going to get out or are they not? But really you're there because you know they will die. Like the majority of the people will die and in gruesome ways. And that for me is just not, that has never, sorry, this is a little off topic, but it's never spoken to me in any sort of way. So no, I don't like Saw. And back to the news, Saw 11 canceled. Lionsgate, who is the main producer and distributor for the Saw franchise, is reportedly said to be exploring other options for the franchise as they still try to capitalize on the success of Saw X. So Saw 10 was very popular, very well received. These include spin-offs or a potential like streaming series or TV series. What do you think, Jake?
I think back to like there was a meme that came out. It was like, for your final challenge, let your B word go through your phone.
Yeah.
And the guy like freaks out. No.
Yeah.
And it was like really sped up, so it was high pitched voice.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I know about Saw, guys. You know, your resident meme provider here. I don't like care for horrors, but I actually did see Chris Rock. Which one was that one?
Spiral.
I
Yeah.
actually watched that at a drive-in. Unprovoked. Just saw it at the drive-in. Somebody wanted to be there for both films, and one of them is Spiral. And I was like, all right, whatever. And it was okay. It was okay. Like the ending was a little bit of a twist. I didn't expect that. But I don't think it did well. I don't think it actually did well. I don't remember what it did.
Spiral was not received well.
Right. Which goes to show you what my opinion matters in horror genre. Whereas if I think it was good, then it was likely mediocre or mid.
Yeah.
But what else have I seen? That's pretty much it. That's all I have to really say. I've seen one, and it was crap.
My favorite fact about Saw is that so the whole point is Tobin Bell's character, who is like the voice behind the puppet, right? Like the guy that's building the traps. It's his life story essentially, and like him trying to make people feel punished for X, Y, and Z, whatever their transgressions were, or for whatever needs he has. Like I know in one he's dying of cancer and he like gets like a bunch of like medical professionals and is like, cure me or die, here's a trap. And it's like it's so, but my favorite part about that is that Tobin Bell has portrayed the character in every installment that character has been in there. And when he has a flashback, they don't get like a younger actor, even as he's gotten progressively older. They just put him in a backwards hat and make him use youthful lingo. And he
Oh
just,
wow.
it looks so bad, but so like those moments I would watch just because they look so funny. It's like back in my day, and it's literally the same exact dude laying in a hospital bed, just his hat turned backwards, and him going, yo. Like, it's just so.
Well, I mean, at this point in the Fast and Furious esque storyline, 10 of them
10 saws,
with
yeah.
Spiral. So,
Yeah.
which is technically 11. At this point, that's the running joke. You should just leave it.
Yeah,
Right?
there are so many saws, and like I watched one of my favorite creators. He made like a top deaths list. Like he went through all of the films and like rated all their deaths. So like I've like gone through them. I've seen the first two, and I think after maybe I watched the first three. After the first two or three, I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Like I get the point, and the progression of the story just got worse, and so I was just like, I'm not forcing myself through this. Like I will
And
force myself through Terrifier because it seems like there's actually like a story in there. And my family and my friends who've seen it are all like, yeah, it's not bad. It's just not like great, but it's getting better. I will force myself through that, even though that's not my type.
and
Saw
then
worse.
go ahead. Oh. And the types of creators that I watch are like the people who are like, these are the saw traps rated on how well I think I can get out of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like it's some random trap that like no way you're getting out of, and you'd be like, easy dude, I'd slip out of it, and then I'd be like, huh, and then I'd break out of it, you know. And I'm like,
Woo.
this, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, he can do it.
But bro, but you haven't seen me in that trap, dude.
Yeah, yeah, no. See, the problem is this guy he wasn't me.
Yeah.
So yeah, put me in that trap, see what happens. So two very different types of creators, but
I
same
mean, same vibe.
same vibe. Saw.
Saw. And in our last piece of news, and arguably the biggest of our third segment here, John Carpenter has seemingly accepted an invitation to score Bong Joon-ho's next horror film. So you might be asking, Bong Joon-ho's already thinking about his next film? Yes. Yes, he is.
Yeah,
He's
yeah. And he's geeking out. He's fanboying. Just
yeah,
you wait.
yeah. So while the director's current release struggles at the box office, Bong Joon-ho seems to have already turned his focus to what's coming next, and I wonder if that's because of things we've talked about on the show.
Dude,
Any-
fell fast.
Yeah,
Fell
yeah.
fast.
He said, oh, oh, and he like just turned. So anyway,
Just get back up, man. You fall down, get back up.
while attending a screening of The Thing at the Academy Museum, the director asked the legendary composer slash director John Carpenter if he would score his next film. So he was in the middle of being like, yeah, this is like whatever, and was like in the middle of a conversation trying to pitch this idea to be like, John, you should score this film. So before he even got through that, John Carpenter straight up said, quote, I want to do your score. They had this moment, like Bong Joon-ho stopped, shook his hand, and then proceeded, for viewers at home, there's an awesome picture of them two on stage. Bong Joon-ho, after getting the handshake, goes, it is just, and you see John Carpenter laughing in his chair as just he's geeking out. He's just so thrilled that this man is going to score his film. This is the first score / film that really John Carpenter's been a part of since the end of his rebooted Halloween trilogy in 2022. So what can you say? This is one of the biggest horror film like creators of all time. From again creating Michael Myers to The Thing. Still, like we will be talking about this guy for the rest of cinema history. And so the fact that he's in a film working with one of the best up and coming, and not even up and coming, one of the best established directors of this generation is just, you can't get any bigger than that. So I'm curious, Jake, what do you think about Carpenter's return?
I think he's definitely going to do a good job. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm interested in knowing what Bong's got in store.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I love how he's just geeking out about it. He's fanboying. And I think you've got like from Stephen Colbert's late show
Yeah,
here as well in the script. You want to
they
talk about that?
I haven't seen the clip, but from the article, then this article is from it's Vulture. Apparently, director Bong was so excited to be not only on the Stephen Colbert show, but to be in the same seat that Carpenter was in, that he like spun around in his seat and got real comfortable in the exact spot, which is a little creepy. But you know,
Their butts were touching.
dog, essentially, and he's excited, and so there's something so sweet about the picture, like just director Bong Joon-ho, just arms up in the air, just absolutely, he's got the biggest smile on his face. Like it's just I don't know, it's just like you see stuff like that and you see that passion and you're just like, okay, like this is why you do this, like this is why you make films, why you're a fan. So I'm excited. I think that exactly as you said, John Carpenter, anything he touches is if you watch the Halloween trilogy, the new Halloween trilogy, which is kind of confusing because the last Halloween trilogy is actually a sequel to the first Halloween movie in 1978. So anything between 1978 until 2018 is not canon. Not canon. The sequel to 1978 is 2018. I know, weird.
All right.
If you watch that franchise or that trilogy, you will know that from Halloween 2018 to, or maybe it's 2018 to Halloween Ends, there was a lot of missed opportunity. There could have been so much more. The moral of the story is that Michael is just the embodiment of a greater evil. The evil takes shape, and that's the thing is when John Carpenter first created the character, he wasn't Michael Myers. He was the shape. That was how he's described. If you go back and read the original script for the 1978 origin film, that is how he's described. He's not described as Mike Myers. He's described as the shape. And to like even further that like on that point, if you look at the credits of any John Carpenter film outside of like everything between 1978 to 2018, the actor that is portraying Mike Myers is credited as the shape. So that idea, the idea originally for the Halloween franchise was that evil is a ever-changing form that is always attacking. It's not one shape. But people fell in love with Mike Myers so much that they wanted to keep seeing the character. And that is why Halloween 3, that cult classic film without Mike Myers and it's the masks, that's why that exists, is because that's that original. But people hated it when it came out, have since become a big favorite of everyone who loves horror films. I love Halloween 3. But anyway, take that point, and that is exactly what it comes back to. Is the end of the trilogy is Laurie Strode, who is Jamie Lee Curtis, is like, I know it'll be back in a different shape. Evil transcend. Like she literally makes that point in a book she's writing, and then just end. And it's like, okay, like I get what you're trying to do. I won't spoil it because you got to watch it. Like it's worth a watch. But it really is like, it's kind of like, man, like I get your point and it's such a cool point, but you missed it. Like there's something that just didn't click there, and it's sad to see it end that way. Still good, still very well done. The score is fantastic as you would expect. So I'm thrilled to see the follow up to post Halloween, because I think that now you can put that to bed. If you're John Carpenter, you can put the story to bed because you told the story you wanted to tell after almost 50 years. Now, let's see what you could do moving forward. So now you get director Bong. Great idea. He seems enthusiastic about it. So I'm excited.
100%.
And on that note, Jake, that's our show. Do you have anything you want to tell the audience before they go?
If you are watching, I wore this toboggan right here. Got a little R on it.
He's branded.
We might remember to switch it in post, but
nope.
It's a little backwards on my camera right now. He says he's not gonna do it.
Oh no, you will see it. You will see it. Well, no, actually, you will see it in reverse because you'll know what I'm talking about, Jake. Yeah.
Sometimes we forget.
No.
But I wore it for you, Ryan.
Thank you.
I wore it for you.
Thank you.
He didn't wear the mustache hat for me, but
look at him. You tell me it's not for you? There you go. See, look at that. It's literally him, dude.
I'm literally him.
Literally him.
I'm literally him. So, on that note,
thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye.